What is going on, YouTube? Today we are going to be building a deck. Yes, I've never built a deck before from scratch. Usually that was weird. But usually I will net deck or web deck, so that just means I see something online and then I take that and then I kind of create something from there, or I leave it the same if the deck's good enough. But I've never actually just hey, I want to play that deck, got the core of it, built it the way I wanted to build it, and made it my own. So as you can see from the beginning, I have an assortment of cards here, and we're gonna try to build a deck. The goal for this is we're gonna take it to locals, see if we can top some locals, but ultimately see if we can make a competitive deck. And the goals of locals when we get there is not only to top, but to see what changes we can make to the deck, how we can make it better, and ultimately if we should just scratch it completely. So let's get into it. I hope you enjoy this. Alright guys, so here I got an open bottle of Battle of Chaos, one of Burst of Destiny, one of Dawn of Majesty. I thought I had a Genesis Impact somewhere. I'm gonna go get that Genesis Impact because Exo Sisters is in that, and I know that Dimension Force has new Exo Sister support, so I'll be right back. Alright guys, Endogram Creators. So those are the four booster, or the four sets I'm gonna try to play from. But not only that, I got two open Alabaz, or structure deck Alabaz Strike. See if we could do something there. Maybe we could do like a branded something. And then I got, some loose cards here, as well as in this box here. And for lastly, I'll have my binders. So I'm gonna go through that as well. But yeah, let's start looking for cards. Alright guys, so after a long night of building and testing and playing, I finally came up with a deck. It's Exo Sisters, and it's a pure Exo Sisters deck. Last night I was going through a whole thing like, oh, should I do branded Exo Sisters or Eldritch Exo Sisters, just because I wanted a little bit more something of a spice in the deck, because Exo Sisters themselves, as of right now, as it stands, is not the best, not the fastest, and that's only because of how limited with cards I am. But when Dimension Force comes out on the 20th, I think it is, and I have access to Malfa and Magnifica and the trap card, I forgot what it's called, Lithian or something like that, this deck will be way better. But until then, let's get into the deck profile. Alright guys, so getting into the deck list, we're going to start off with 3 Stella. I think Stella is the best Exo Sister monster you have, just because during the main phase you can special summon 1 Exo Sister monster from hand. So if you're going first, you normal summon. If you have an additional Exo Sister, you special summon, and you go into a rank 4 play right off the bat, which is pretty crazy because the rank 4 monsters that Exo Sisters have pretty crazy effects in themselves. Next we have 3 Elise. What Elise does is if you control an Exo Sister monster, you can actually special summon it from hand, and if the monster that you control is Stella, you actually gain 800 life points. So and those are the 2 sisters that are compatible with each other. So Exo Sister Stella, Searches Exo Sister Elise. Sophia, which we're going into right now, goes into Irene. So what Sophia does is if you control another Exo Sister monster, you get to draw a card, which is great because who doesn't like drawing. And then you go into Irene. Irene's effect isn't the best. You could put an Exo Sister card from your hand to the bottom of the deck and then draw a card. You don't really want to see Irene too much, but if you play 3 Sophia, you have to run 2 Irene. If you play 2 Sophia, you run 1 Irene. But yeah, so those are the Exo Sister monsters, and then these 2 are honorary Exo Sister monsters only because I don't have that much extenders, but what Ranryu does, if you control a spellcaster, which they're all spellcasters, you could special summon it from your hand. I don't have Gigabyte or Inari, so these will do as my only extenders. And that's my monster lineup in the deck. I think it's 13 monsters. Yep, 13 monsters. And then the rest of the Exo Sister cards, we have Exo Sister packs. This is a really good card. So what you do is pay 800 life points and then you can search any Exo Sister card, which is crazy. So if you need Vitus, you search Vitus. If you need Armament, you need Armament, and any monster you need, you know. Going into Armament. What Armament does is it's a quick spell, and you can target one of your Exo Sister monsters and then exceed summoning it using it as materials. If you use an Exo Sister Exceed monster, those materials from that Exceed monster go into the new Exceed monster, which is pretty crazy. And then you run 3 Vitus. So Vitus is pretty good. I think it's actually the best spell card or trap card that I have, only because it special summons 2 Exo Sister monsters from your deck to the field, but destroys them at end phase. But all of your Exo Sister monsters have an effect where if your opponent moves cards from the graveyard, you can use that monster as material to exceed summon, which is crazy in itself, right? The only down part is it gets destroyed during the end phase. So if your opponent just wanted to pass turn and destroy them, then that's fine. I usually save this for my own turn. Just if I don't have any monsters, I have to use them as material for a rank play. But that's all my Exo Sister cards. Going into the rest of the deck. So this is a blind going second deck. I run 2 Ice Dragon Prisons, just for like Dragon Links and Despias and Brandeds and Prank Kids and anything like that. That's Ice Dragon Prison is really good. And then I played 3 Gozen match because all my monsters are a light attribute. So a Floodgate like this does not hurt my deck. That's why I really wanted to play 3 of them. Other than that, I have 3 Dark Ruler no more. Like I said, I am blind going second, so I don't mind playing 3 Dark Ruler. I can't afford Forbidden Droplets right now because they're so pricey, but Dark Ruler does good, so I'll just Dark Ruler. I don't care if they take no damage. I'll Dark Ruler, break their board, and then next turn just set up for follow-up. 2 Imperm, 2 Effect Veiler, 2 Ghost Ogre, and 2 Ash for the hand traps. This is good. This is good enough. I see them so really frequently, and this is a 41 card deck as it is, so I didn't have enough space to run 3s of everything, but I felt like 2 of everything was good just because I needed hand traps. Like I said, blind going second. And then the one Called by the Grave. Called by the Grave, the God card. You already know if you have it in your hand and you're trying to packs and they ask you, this helps you so much. And for the last 3 cards, I play Branded Fusion, and Albaz. So I just wanted to add this in here because you'll see when I get to the extra deck that I don't run the Utopic Future and the Utopic Draco Future, only because I don't have them at the moment. And like I said, I wanted this deck to be cards that I owned. So Mirror Jade and Albion in the extra deck is really good, and I'll show you how I get into them. And it's actually good because you go Branded Fusion, you send the Fallen of Albaz, and then you send any Exo Sister, gets you into Mirror Jade, and then Pack says if you could search a card, and if you can search an Exo Sister, and if that Exo Sister you search, their sister is in the graveyard, special summon it. So it doesn't matter what you send off of Branded Fusion. So for next turn, if you have a PAX, just make sure that you're getting the sister that's in the grave, or the opposing sister that's in the grave, so you can special summon it. So I thought it worked really well. So that's it for the main deck. Going into the extra deck, I run 2 Mikulis. This is the best one as of right now until I get Magnifica. So what this does is an add and banish. So once she's summoned, I can banish a card my opponent controls or one from their graveyard, which is crazy. And then I could detach a material to search Exo spell or trap. You'll usually search packs off this because then pack searches anything. Asophil, I don't know, Asophil. She returns a card to hand. When she's summoned, you can't. So this one says neither player can activate effects in their graveyard. This one can't be destroyed by monsters that were special summoned from the graveyard. This one can't be destroyed by monsters summoned special from the graveyard, and neither player can special summon monsters from the graveyard. She's a search, so you just detach one and search a monster. Gabrine is a monster negate and attack boost. So then we also have a Zeus. Zeus is pretty easy to make in this Exceed deck, you know. So even if you're blind going second, so let's say you attack into Mikulis, or you have Mikulis and then you attack, but they have a big board, just make Zeus, and then you have material on it to, you know, pop the whole board. And then we have 1 Tornado Dragon and 1 Babushka. Babushka only just, if you don't have nothing and you only have 1 rank 4 play, go into Babushka, just buy you some time, you know what I mean? Tornado Dragon to pop back row. This is literally like my only back row removal that I have in deck, but we're still working on the deck, and you know, we're gonna try to make it better. We're gonna wait for Dimension Force to come out. So then we have 2 Albion and 1 Mirror Jade. Like I said, I don't play the Utopic package, so this is really good. It's just an out, basically. Let's say you didn't have a rank 4 play, you can go into Verte. Last card is Verte. You can go into Verte, make Mirror Jade, and then sit on Vitus or something. So next turn, you have follow-up, and then you just have an interruption. This deck is all about interruptions, and like I said, it's not the most competitive right now because I only made it out of cards that I currently own. So we're gonna build on it, and we're gonna make it better. But test playing Ronnie's anti-meta was pretty rough. I don't think I beat him once. Playing against his Crusadia, that was fairly tough. Just because Crusadia is an OTK, we're both going second decks. But playing online as well, I did win against a few Despia decks. I did win against some other decks as well. But this is the build, you guys, and I hope you guys like it so far. If you have any suggestions on what I can do, what cards I can buy to make it better, we're gonna try to top some locals. Thanks.